Arrival and descent, a world of alien angles. "Prepare the landing party," Armitage commanded, his voice gaining a brittle edge of excitement, a man on the precipice of both profound discovery and absolute terror. "We shall set foot upon this cursed ground and unravel the secrets of a bygone age. Atwood, Mallory, Cartwright, you are with me. Rice, maintain orbital stability and prepare for immediate departure if my signal indicates." The chosen team, a quartet of intrepid, or perhaps irredeemably foolhardy, scholars and technicians, began the laborious, almost ritualistic process of donning their high-altitude suits. These were not the sleek, form-fitting creations of later, more advanced eras, but rather bulky, cumbersome affairs, fashioned from multiple layers of canvas, rubberized fabric, and reinforced metal plating. They were designed to maintain internal pressure against the vacuum while providing rudimentary protection against radiation and micrometeorites. Each suit weighed a considerable amount, even in Earth's gravity, and while the Moon's reduced pull made them somewhat more manageable, they still felt like a second, inflexible skin, restricting movement and demanding constant, conscious effort for every gesture. The internal temperature was maintained by a rudimentary heating coil system, which often malfunctioned, leading to uncomfortable hot or cold spots. They resembled nothing so much as the deep-sea dialing gear of a previous era, adapted for the vacuum and the unknown atmospheric conditions of the lunar surface. The primitive oxygen tanks strapped to their backs hissed faintly, their contents providing a finite and terrifyingly precious supply of breathable air, monitored by small, barely visible gauges. The heavy, glass-domed helmets, with their elaborate internal communication systems and anti-fogging mechanisms, encased their heads entirely, muffling the outside world to a dull hum of their own breathing and the crackle of static from the comms. Their peripheral vision was severely limited, forcing them to turn their entire bodies to gain a full view. They were the very image of Wiley Post's pioneering stratosphere ascents, a touch of earthly familiarity amidst the encroaching cosmic horror, a desperate echo of human endeavor in a realm utterly alien. Dr. Mallory, the expedition's biologist, his usually meticulous movements hampered by the bulk of his suit, struggled to secure his helmet clamps, his fingers fumbling with the stiff metal. Young Mr. Cartwright, the expedition's official photographer and junior archaeologist, a man whose youthful enthusiasm usually bordered on recklessness, was noticeably subdued, his movements stiff with apprehension. He adjusted the heavy plate camera, its brass fittings gleaming dully in the artificial light of the Albatross's airlock, ready to capture the unholy wonders that awaited them. Armitage and Atwood, seasoned veterans of countless perilous expeditions into forgotten ruins and dangerous geological sites, moved with a practiced, albeit still laborious grace, born of long experience with cumbersome gear in extreme environments. As the inner door of the airlock hissed shut with a definitive thud, and the pumps began their slow, wheezing exhalation of the ship's carefully maintained atmosphere, a palpable tension filled the small metallic space. Each man carried a specialized array of instruments and sampling gear, geological hammers and rock bags for Atwood, specimen containers and a bioscanner for Mallory, optical instruments and a compass for Armitage, along with powerful arc lamps designed to pierce a lunar night, their beams capable of cutting through oppressive darkness with blinding intensity. The air grew thinner, colder, until the internal pressure of their suits became the sole barrier between them and the absolute vacuum, the pressure differential causing a faint popping in their ears. The outer hatch creaked open with a groan of stressed metal, revealing the stark, desolate, yet impossibly grand landscape of the far side of the Moon. The colossal silhouette of the alien city loomed in the middle distance, its impossible angles stark and unsettling against the dizzying tapestry of the star-strewn void. a profound silence, broken only by the hiss of their breathing within their helmets and the crackle of their comms pressed upon them. A silence so complete it seemed to absorb all thought, all sound, all hope. They were the first terrestrial beings to witness this spectacle, and the weight of that realization was almost unbearable, their crushing sense of cosmic insignificance. With deliberate, agonizingly cautious movements, they descended the albatross's rudimentary ladder onto the cold, dust-covered surface. The low lunar gravity, while a blessing in terms of reducing their effective weight, tugged at their cumbersome suits in unexpected ways, making each step a deliberate, almost balleritic effort. A single misstep could send one tumbling in a slow-motion somersault that would be nearly impossible to recover from. The arc lamps, once ignited, cast long, distorted shadows that danced and flickered across the uneven terrain, lending a grotesque air to their surroundings. The lunar dust, fine as talcum, clung to their boots with an unnerving tenacity, leaving crisp, undeniable imprints of their passage. The ground underfoot was surprisingly rigid, a fine grit over ancient, unyielding bedrock. As they began their laborious trudge toward the Cyclopean ruins, the sheer scale of the Old One's architecture became even more overwhelmingly apparent. The structures grew, stretching upwards and outwards with a disturbing grandeur that defied human architectural logic. Towers that seemed to pierce the very fabric of the vacuum, their spires reaching into the Stygian blackness like frozen nightmares, seemed to defy the very laws of physics. Their surfaces, even from a distance, appeared to be covered with intricate non-Euclidean carvings that hinted at alien processes of thought and creation. Patterns that seemed to shift and shimmer in the periphery of their vision, causing a peculiar eye strain. Vast paved plazas, stretching between them like the forgotten parade grounds of some monstrous pre-human empire, lay barren and silent, their material a strange gray stone that seemed to absorb the light rather than reflect it, casting an unearthly pallor.